In an age where digital connection is everywhere, you'd think meaningful communication would be easier than ever. But oddly enough, it feels harder. Conversations have become more cautious, filtered, and often avoided altogether, especially when the topic gets uncomfortable. As our society leans more heavily into social media and the consequences of saying the wrong thing grow harsher due to cancel culture, it's worth asking, are we really talking anymore? Or are we just performing for approval? My name is Tanner Greenhagen, and today I want to talk about something that I feel a lot of us feel, but maybe haven't fully processed. How social media and cancel culture are changing the way we talk to each other, especially in one-on-one conversations. We live in a world that's more connected than ever, at least on the surface. We can post our thoughts instantly, get responses in seconds, and reach more people than we ever could before. But for all that connection, people are becoming more silent, more filtered, and honestly, more afraid to speak. I'm going to break down how cancel culture and social media have shifted the way we interact, why that's hurting our ability to have honest conversations, and what we can do to turn things around. Let me be clear, I am not anti-social media. I use it like everyone else. It can be funny, helpful, and a good way to stay in touch. But the downside is that it encourages surface level communication. Quick posts, snap reactions, no tone, no context. And when cancel culture enters the picture, things get worse. People don't just worry about being misunderstood anymore. They worry about being publicly called out, labeled, or losing opportunities for saying the wrong thing. To understand where all this started, it helps to look back a bit. Cancel culture began as a way to hold powerful people accountable. Think celebrities or politicians facing real consequences for things they said or did, but over time, it's trickled down to everyday life. Now, someone with a tiny platform can be canceled for a comment taken out of context. Even if there was no harmful intent, the term has its meaning, and instead of promoting accountability, it often promotes fear. A 2020 Pew Research study found that 62% of Americans believe people are too easily offended by what others say, while 50% say calling out others on social media holds people accountable. That split shows how complicated this issue is. People want fairness and accountability, but not at the cost of open conversation. That fear doesn't stay out online, it shows up in real life. People start second guessing everything they say. They avoid tough conversations, not because they don't care, but because they don't want to mess up. A study published in the journal Cyber Psychology, Journal of Psychosocial Research on Cyberspace, showed that heavy social media use is linked to higher levels of social anxiety, especially in face-to-face interactions. It's no surprise when every sentence online can be screenshot, misread, and judged by people who don't even know you, you start learning to keep quiet. And that habit also follows you offline. We are losing connection, the stuff that makes human communication actually work, like body language, tone, pauses. On social media, there's no facial expression to show. Instead of asking, hey, what did you mean by that? We just assume the worst, and instead of working through misunderstandings, we hit block or mute, or we dogpile on someone to stay with the majority. This has real effects as people become scared to speak up, even in school or at work. They don't ask questions in class because they don't want to look dumb. They avoid difficult conversations with friends or family because it feels safer to stay quiet than to risk being misinterpreted. Psychologist Abigail Marsh, in an interview with NPR, said that cancel culture encourages moral outrage, but often leaves no room for empathy, forgiveness, or growth. That's a big deal. Growth takes mistakes. Conversation takes patience. If we shut people down every time they mess up, they don't learn, they become defensive, and they retreat. We're also seeing a drop in emotional resilience. Instead of resolving conflict, people just cut each other off. It's easier to ghost rather than talk things through. But over time, this creates a culture where people don't know how to handle disagreement, and they don't know how to reconnect once trust is broken. Even in dating, friendships, or family dynamics, cancel culture has crept in. One wrong word in a text or group chat can get someone iced out. Instead of treating conversations as a chance to understand each other, we treat them like tests for other people to pass or fail. So what can we do? First, we need to start giving people the benefit of the doubt. If someone says something wrong, ask questions before jumping to conclusions. Most of the time, people aren't trying to be cruel. They're just imperfect like the rest of us. Second, get off the phone more. Not completely, but enough to build a real connection. Talk face to face. Listen and hear the tone in someone's voice. See their eyes. That kind of communication goes deeper than a tweet or a post ever could. Third, stop expecting perfection. Everyone messes up. If someone shows they're willing to learn, let them. Cancel culture often ignores the fact that people can change. They grow, but only if we give them the space to do so. And last, be the kind of communicator you want others to be. Ask questions, be honest. Don't shame someone for getting it wrong. That's how we rebuild trust, not by canceling, but by connecting. To wrap up, cancel culture and social media have not destroyed communication on their own, but they've definitely made it harder. They've created an environment where people are too afraid to be themselves and where real, vulnerable conversation feels risky. We can fix it. We can talk more, assume less, forgive more, and bring back the kind of conversations that building understanding instead of division. If we keep letting fear shut us up, we don't just lose our voices, we lose the chance to actually hear each other. Thank you.